Good afternoon, everyone. I'm hoping that you guys are all happy and relaxed and excited about the journey that we had for PUBG Mobile in India. The crazy game, its crazy journey, and the player community that we have is what I'm going to talk about. So I'll start with the global trailer that we had. This is the trailer that started it all, right? When it came out, it was an instant success. People were looking forward to this particular IP, and people started playing, and Tencent was, well, quite happy. So if you don't know, Tencent is the developer for PUBG Mobile. It's a leading internet technology company. It's based out of Shenzhen, China. We have a bunch of products, WeChat, QQ, WeChat Pay, and a few other ones like we have services as well, Tencent Cloud, AI. It is quite a big company. It's about 47 billion in last year revenue with about a 400 billion market cap. And one of the major divisions of Tencent is Tencent Games. We don't call ourselves the biggest gaming company. We call ourselves the leading global platform for gaming for some reason. What it means is that we develop and partner with a lot of companies to make the biggest games, especially in mobile and PCs. Some of the games that you may have heard of, Arena of Valor, Crossfire, and of course PUBG Mobile. We work with a lot of other gaming companies which are quite big as well. We have interest in them either financially or strategic partnership with them. Some of them are, of course, Riot Games, which makes League of Legends, Supercell, Epic Games, Activision Blizzard, all of them, right? So whenever somebody asks me, what is the relationship between Call of Duty and us, or Fortnite and us, my answer is always, it's complicated, right? We are competitors. At the same time, we are collaborators and sometimes even investors as well. The reason that I'm giving a bit of context on this is being the biggest gaming company, leading global technology platform for gaming, when Tencent decided to put up its first fully functional publishing organization, it decided to do in India. It happened in last year, 2018 January. That was a big moment, all right? The company recognizing the potential of India market and put together a team to fully focus over here. When we started, we were 3 members. I would like to say we started in a garage, but not really. We had money, so we took up some space. Now we are about 30-member team, right? We focus primarily on India and some of the South Asian countries. That's our team. You see, most of us are happy, a bit dorky, but very happy at that. And with the PUBG Mobile, simple over there. About myself, my name is Aneesh Aravind. I'm the general manager of Tencent Games India. I have worked on a bunch of companies prior to Tencent as a programmer in Infosys and Tata, and as a consultant in KPMG, and then moved on to Zynga and then Tencent. The games that I have worked on are Farmville, Empires and Allies, Arena of Valor, and currently PUBG Mobile. when I look at the games that I worked on, right, I was quite happy with, well, tending cows in Farmville, right? And now I'm quite happy with in a game where people shoot each other to survive. It gave me a perspective on how to run really massive games for years and years. What does it take to do that? Apart from the product changes that you have to do, certainly, what it would take for the ecosystem to be so strong that a game can run for a decade. If you don't know about PUBG Mobile, it's quite simple. 100 people jump into an island, try to battle it out, kill everyone else, and be the last one to survive. And what do you get? Well, you get chicken dinner, all right? That's what it is. There are a bunch of maps that have come out. There are a few modes, but the classical one, Erangel with the classic mode is what everyone prefers. That's what people play. When it launched in 2018, within a few weeks, we knew that we have a massive hit in our hands, right? It was the most downloaded game in 100 plus countries. And of course, over the period of time, we got a bunch of awards. The Golden Joystick and Google's Choice Award and all of it. A year later, this is what we had, right? 400 million downloads. This is global, of course. 400 million downloads and a 50 million DAU. You guys work in the gaming industry. You know how massive these numbers are, right? This is huge. And of course, India provided a good share of this. I really cannot comment on what exactly the India numbers are, unfortunately. We will look at some of the things that we made, that we did to make it a really successful game over here. If you look at the rank charts in App Store or Play Store, right, we are always in the top charts, grossing downloads, both in Apple and Google, right? The charts here, they do not give you an idea about how big the game is in India, right? How passionate our players are about this game. Everyone, anyone from celebrities to cricketers to, well, our Prime Minister naming it out and talking about it and playing it without us really doing anything on that front, basically made the game from a niche subculture that we had to the pop culture. Everyone wants to quote it. There are tons of games, sorry, not games, songs, content around the game, right? If you see this.
Vishal.
I'm in.
Gigi.
In.
Murli.
In.
Let's go.
ये PUBG वाला है
So this is India's favorite game, right? Everyone plays it. Everyone would like to talk about it and understand what it is. When we launched it, or before we launched it, there are of course a bunch of external or market factors that helped the game. The tech infrastructure improvement. Large number of people had smartphones. Anyone who had a smartphone had internet connectivity. And of course, very low cost of data, right? Along with that, when you see it, the young population in India, by percentage, it's one of the largest in the world. And for entertainment, what do? They watch the OTTs, they watch the YouTube. But what else is there? Right? They were started playing games. Now, that's the other thing that we had. People were familiar with gaming. They played a bunch of games, but not really a lot of mid-core and hardcore games. So there was no super hit game in the shooting genre. When we launched it, really, really high retention. It was a very popular IP in PC world that probably kind of got a lot of core players in the beginning of the game. It's a very easy game to play, right? What is complicated? You see a gun, you take it up, you shoot the next guy. That's pretty much it, all right? It's very easy to learn, actually easy to master as well. It's not that hard. See, Dota people say, what is that, like 20,000 hours to master? This takes like 20 hours. It's not that hard. Uh, People loved it. The concept of the shrinking island, it's hard to explain, but people understood it immediately. There was no pay to win. People love to play it with their friends. Voice chat was a really, really big thing. People don't say, let's play PUBG now, right? What they say is that, Aja PUBG mein, right? Let's go into PUBG. PUBG is a way for them to relax, talk about their, like, I don't know, whine about their stuff at office or school, talk about their girlfriends or even boyfriend and girlfriend. They talk in game, right? We have heard a bunch of stories where people met in PUBG and got married. Really, yeah, happened actually. And of course, the great tech, optimized gameplay and all of that too. It was a great product for mobile. What we will talk about now is some of the things that we have done in different areas around publishing. In marketing, user acquisition through the traditional channels. When I say traditional, it's Google and YouTube and Facebook, right? We did that. We did it for not just user acquisition, for engagement as well as monetization. And as you can pretty much think about, select the right target group or audience, you find the right channels, you test it out, and if it works, then you scale up, right? That's not a very complicated thing. But what we need to understand here is this was a massive game, right? The installs were going through the roof. So when we did UA, we find roadblocks from time to time. We can't scale up enough. Either the cost goes up really high, or we have to expand into different audiences and figure that out. Which one should we go? So when we decided that this is going to be the super hit game in India, and we want to make that happen, we wanted to scale it up really, really big. The channels, the digital channels were not enough. Then that's when we actually turned into mass media. Of course, mass media is TV.
PUBG मोबाइल डाउनलोड करें और खेलें बिल्कुल फ्री.
This is the short version of our TV commercial. It took so much time to put it together, not the ad in itself, but the TV commercial and the planning for it, right? You need to have a lot of money, of course, all right? You need to plan it properly. You need to really target whom you are going after. You need to get a great agency for planning and media buying, all of that. It took us more than 6 weeks to just plan the whole campaign. It was a great success, right? Not just in terms of the installs, it brought us reputation. It took away from what you just play on your mobile to a conversation that you can have with anyone. Kids were talking to their parents, hey, see this? This is what I play. All these channels which we figured out are the right ones for acquiring our users, HBO, Discovery, all of that. It was a massive campaign. It ran for 55 days. 22,000 times the ad popped up in TV, all right? And we got something like a 2.3 billion impressions. This pushed it up from like a medium-sized DAU to like a large one, and made it from a niche one to a pop culture reference that we had. Once we had that, we started building momentum around PR. It took a lot of time to talk to our journalists, make them understand what this game is. It is not Blue Whale, right? Well, that's a question that I get. Is it similar to Blue Whale? Well, I have learned to be stoic and not roll my eyes these days when I get that question. The point is, anyone who is not in gaming, they don't understand what the game is, right? They think of it as completely different perspective. It takes so much effort and time to get the message across that this is a form of entertainment. It is nothing more, nothing less. We got 3,700 articles in last 1 year. That's about 10 articles coming every day. It's getting into the level of, I don't know, like a political party or something like that. Maybe they don't even have that many. After that, not after that, along with it in parallel, we started building community. If I learned anything from my previous experience, the most critical thing for a long running game is building the right kind of community. You might have seen some of the toxic communities around some of the games, right? That's certainly one thing that which we really didn't want. We want to build a very passionate one. People can have fun and all of that, that's fine, but not really abusive, not really toxic. So we put a lot of effort into that. We figured out which channels even that we want to build community on. So if you see this, and if you think about it right now, these seem like foregone conclusions. Why not Facebook? Why not YouTube? And why not Insta? But it was not the case when we started. Twitch was the primary channel for streaming. We had to actually test out YouTube versus Twitch to see what works over in India, because nobody was really streaming in YouTube at that point of time. Facebook for interactions and network, YouTube for long form content, and Instagram, as you know, it's, well, virality and interesting content, right? Facebook is quite huge. It's still growing and people love the content, and we are quite liberal with it if it's not abuse or anything. People troll the company and the game actually in our page, right? People talk about shoe stores and everything because, well, we give out a lot of free shoes and people hate that, and they talk about in our community, in our channel, saying that, hey, PUBG Mobile, stop giving us shoes. I already have like a shoe store, or I have like 10 different shoes or something like that. YouTube, 800K subscribers, and well, I think it's 55 million views and going up. It's a cumulative views that you see over there. The content that we put over there, it's primarily esports and, well, some other videos that we make around the game. If you read the comments in our YouTube channel, they are quite funny, really, really funny. If you don't know some of the terms or the people around it, you might feel confused. For example, one day I saw hashtag Rakhi Sawant OP, right? Like 1,000 people were commenting on it. I had no clue what this. I looked at that. I thought maybe Miss Sawant has started playing PUBG, is it? When I talked to my community manager, I figured that no, one of our popular players apparently does a lot of drama, and people started calling him Rakhi Sawant, right? So is it abuse? Is it troll? Is it fun? Luckily, the player was very mature. He ignored it. He moved on, right? He didn't take offense. And of course, Miss Sawant don't know about this, I hope, and she doesn't have a problem. So things like that. There's a lot of lingo. There's a lot of memes around these things. Not just the game, what you have in game, right? What happens outside the game. That keeps the community very alive. Instagram, this is for fun posts. Like, you know, it's interesting content that we have, things that people love to see. The clip that we are going to see is during PUBG Mobile India series, a very serious esports competition, one of the semi-finals, a player is doing this.
इनके बीच में ओ ये देखिए एक्सपेरिमेंट यहाँ पे डांस दिखाते हुए इनको पता है कि इनको देखा जा रहा है कैमरा इनके ऊपर ही है और यहाँ पे गजब एकदम इसको पता है यहाँ पे
Very serious competition, right? All his teammates died. He was alone. He was dancing there. People loved it. Part of our community is the content creators. There was a very active interest from our side to build a proper network around them. We talk to almost all of them, help them out, guide them when needed, and of course, they give back a lot, right? Now we have currently about 160 member strong team around that. Some of you at least might have heard the names of Mortal, Dynamo and all, I hope. Yes? The subscriber numbers, if you see, 5.6 million subscribers for Dynamo, right? And he's exclusively PUBG Mobile. Before the game came out, you might have heard about Carrie Minati, the only one who was big enough to be heard in the pop culture. Now we have a ton of people who are above 1 million and creating content day in, day out, and they make so much money. It's great for them, great for us. It is becoming an industry in itself. The number of views that these guys contribute to PUBG Mobile, insane. 4 billion till now. Every month, we get about 250 million to 300 million views from these guys, which is about every day 10 million views. This is a very, very strong network that we have. And we actively cultivated this. This is a global game, right? The question that we always had was, what is the right localization? Is it changing the language to Hindi? Is it providing narratives of, I don't know, from our mythology of Ramayana or elsewhere to connect it to PUBG somehow? Does it make sense? What we decided is, of course, the route of test out something, pilot it, see if it works, then do more of that, right? The warrior thing over there, as you see, you can actually picture, I don't know, Hrithik Roshan or somebody like throwing a bomb and walking off, right? People here loved it. When I see that, yeah, there are things that we can do in this fashion. So we started with that. The current one or the latest one is the Diwali Costume. It's a very nice costume. If you haven't noticed that, check out your game. It's quite nice. We did even an event with it with physical rewards, giving out bike and headphones and PUBG merchandise and all of it, right? Again, testing out. Does that work? Does physical rewards work in the game? We have increased the category of things that we do in localization as well as the frequency of that. When we started, we just started with the skins and the costumes, right? Then we started events, we started bundles, we started features, primarily for the market. We seen success in that, and we try to do more and more with bigger scale. This is the fun thing that we try to do, right? Bollywood, that's where the glamour is. Should we do something with them? What kind of partnership should we have with Bollywood? So we tested something with the launch of Fury. Bunch of the content creators, they went to Mumbai in one of the studio, played with Vicky Kaushal. He had fun, they had fun, of course we had fun too, right? We tested it again with the RAW with John Abraham. It creates a hype, right? It brings glamour, but it's a bit short-lived, to be open about that. We focused a lot on the long-term partnerships that we can with the different companies over here in multiple sectors. Google Play, we do a lot of things with them. Koda Pay and Flipkart, monetization and even promotion of some of the in-game things that we have. We worked with a bunch of OTTs, Woot, Hotstar, Sony Live, to stream out our esports content and even some of the other things. Oppo and Vivo, we have very strong relationship with them. You might have seen them in our esports championship, right? We took esports and looked at what is the right thing for mobile esports. That's when we came up with Campus Championship last year. This was the biggest one when we launched it, not biggest anymore. 50 lakh prize pool. People thought we were crazy, that too only for the college kids, right? We wanted to check out two things primarily. One is, can we have the high quality production in India? Second is, can we get enough audience to come in to the venue to see it? Nobody knew, actually. Nobody knew. Even we had no clue as to first how to conduct an esports event, right? And then again, no clue as to how many people would turn up. That's when my manager said, hey, I'm inviting two VIPs to this thing. And one was Mr. Kim, who is basically the CEO of PUBG Corporation. And second was Mr. Chenjari, who is the president of Lightspeed and Quantum Studio, who makes PUBG Mobile, right? And these two were the guys who can actually decide how to take on the esports scenario and whether we should move forward with or not. So the pressure was there to make it an awesome experience for the guys who are coming in. And of course, we didn't know how many people would turn up. So we tried to maximize that. We put ads in FM radios. We took a full page ads in newspapers. We printed out pamphlets, right? We tried to do all the things that we could to make sure that actually the venue is full. It was about 1,500 seats. Well, we got about 2,500 people coming in as a rolling crowd. So the guys were happy, we were happy, everyone was happy, and we got more money and approval to do more things. This was the pilot. Then we scaled it up with India series that happened in Hyderabad last year, not last year, this year.
Welcome to Oppo PUBG Mobile India Series Grand Final!
So we upped the price pool, 50 lakhs to 1 crore. Here, the theme was scaling up, right? Scaling up the number of participants, scaling up the views that we get primarily from online, and basically showcasing that India can have a bright esports future. So this was the stadium, and the number of participants was about like 575,000 people. I think it was like a world record in itself, right? We had about 50 million views in YouTube when we streamed it out. Huge number. This gave us the confidence to go forward. Now we wanted to kind of not just do the same thing and scale it up. We want to expand. We wanted to take it into places beyond metros in India. That's when we came up with the PUBG Mobile India tour. As the name suggests, we went to Jaipur, Guwahati, Pune, Hyderabad, and then Kolkata, right? Of course, the prize pool is bigger, 1.5 crores. And this was a huge success, right? 5 events in a period of 3 months, I guess, something like that. We learned a lot. We learned a lot about our capability, our player participation, what people would find interesting in esports. If you see the next clip, it's basically people queuing up for the grand finals of Kolkata, right? At its peak, it was about 1 kilometer. This is crazy. When I saw that, well, it seems unreal. It's like it was not even 1 year from where we thought we couldn't fill up a small venue to seeing this. PMCO is the other tournament that we did over here. It's basically to develop the professional ecosystem in India for esports, and of course, people here want to go to global stage and get that experience and showcase the talent over here, right? So with all of this, if you look at that, marketing, within marketing, we did UA through digital channels, we did mass media, we did PR, we built the community around our own channels, we created the content network, content creators network, we did product localization different ways, we built partnerships which are long-standing with the different companies, and of course, we built the whole mobile esports ecosystem in India. This is what we did in the last 1 year, right? This is, I believe, what made PUBG Mobile the great success that we are seeing today. It is a playbook. It is a framework, right? It took us so much time to understand this. Not just time, effort, and a lot of money too. It was not like it was clear from the beginning. No. We had a lot of doubts. We had a lot of uncertainty. Where should we put our money on? Where should we put our effort on? What is the right thing to do? Anything from localization to esports to marketing to anything that you can think of. But now we have a playbook. If any of you want to look at that, publishing a global game in India, well, you can take this. Of course, you'll have to modify and adjust to your needs, but this is there, right? I want to go back to what I was saying earlier, India's potential. Tencent Games, when we came over here, we just didn't look at what the current market size is, right? Being the company of that size, it was not enough. My and my team's mandate is not be the biggest player over here. No, it is about growing the market over here, right? Not just in people playing and paying. It is building the ecosystem around games, advertising around games, esports around that, content creation around it, streaming, all of it around gaming. What can you build? How do you make that happen? That was a mandate. So PUBG Mobile is the first hit that we have. We tested out a bunch of games before that, if you don't know. When we saw what the product market fit for PUBG Mobile in the early days, we dropped all of that. We focused completely on PUBG Mobile because we knew we can make this a super hit game in India. And the players responded, right? Our players are so passionate. If you go to any mall in India where there are enough youngsters and shout, winner, winner, what do you hear back? Yes, of course, chicken dinner, right? You can test it out. We have done that. Everyone knows it. This is a thing, right? It's a pop culture. We are not operating as some, I don't know, the gaming industry, it's not small anymore, really, guys. It is big. If you talk to people, you can hear anywhere from it makes 500 million to 1.5 billion dollars in a year kind of numbers that will be thrown around, right? What matters is that the market is growing at a very, very high pace, not just in gaming, as in developing gaming. That's not just where the market is, right? You can pick up any of the areas that we have over here. If somebody can figure out for me a way to build a community in TikTok for PUBG Mobile, I'll be super happy to hear about that. We haven't figured that out yet. If you can figure out how to do esports in different ways, that's another great opportunity. If you can figure out what is the right product localization that we should do, gaming is growing at a very, very fast pace globally and in India specifically. If you are in gaming industry, well, lucky you. That's what I would say. For us, this is great, right? For those of us who make games, who are associated with any of the product and services in gaming, we are really lucky to be here. Take care of this industry, right? Be here. Make something that players love. And, well, and you will be rewarded. That's what I can say. Thank you.